What's good, guys? B&K, Big Nasty Kail here, and this is take 3. First time my microphone was actually not on. Second time my video capture was not working too well. So hopefully third time is the charm. So this is a different kind of video, and some backstory. I've been playing Overwatch, and I really enjoy playing Overwatch. Overwatch is a really fun game, and Overwatch has taught me a lot about what it means to be a competitive player. I'm actually going to move my pop filter a little bit. It really helped me so much to just put into perspective how to view a game, how to view getting value out of a choice. You know what I mean? And there's always decisions to make. And is the decision that you're making optimal? Are you going to get best value? So the backstory goes, there's a Junkrat player which I adore. I love this guy. His name is Chro. Chro, if you want to follow him on Twitter. So Twitch, excuse me. You can see his name on screen here, and this is a video done by Overwatch Central. It's a channel that covers a lot of Overwatch news, tips, tricks, all that shit. So they interviewed this guy, and I remember seeing this because I'm a Junkrat lover. I love the character. He's freaking awesome. I don't consider myself a Junkrat main just because I fucking can't play the character as well as I need to, but the whole point is, when I watched this, I thought he had a lot of good shit to talk about, and it wasn't even about like how to play the character better. It was actually more so about kind of how to view the game and what does it mean to you, because it's all a reflection back to you. And I've been talking to people about Juri for the last week or so, a lot about Juri, and I've been getting a lot of pushback, and I keep going back to things that I learned from Chro, and it's important shit. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to cue it up. I fucked it up when I screwed up my video capture, but I'll tell you, when it gets to the part I wanted to express to you guys.
Range, it's at that point where people can actively dodge your shots, and it doesn't matter how notice you or they, they're not paying attention to the grenade projectile itself, because it's not as big as people think, and they will lose it, if they're looking at the sky.
Buffering.
A little bit.
Great.
If you're really arcing it, they won't see it come in depending on the backdrop. Aiming comes over time, and that's why I can't give you a tip or a trick saying, oh, just follow this, these top 10 things. Yeah, there's none of that. You have to think about every single shot. If you're looking for a ricochet at the support, you have to know your aim. Very, very complex.
Hopefully that works.
I mean, a Reinhardt could be approaching me, and I could have 5 different ways I could put the shot on. You have to weigh these choices, what chance of each.
You can still see a little bit about
each move that Reinhardt can do,
how important it is to look forward in what you plan to do, and how much harder he has to work than other people have to work.
I think I put 340 hours in Junkrat between Season 2 and Season 3. People ask me, it's so boring, how do you do it? It's no, every one of these problems, very, very complex, and the way to answer it is not through mechanical, expertise, purely aiming. It's about positioning and knowing what to do and how to do it.
So would you say that players just need to be a bit more braver and start playing Junkrat in order to get the most out of him? Do you feel it's like Sombra, I think everybody has this underlying thing with Sombra where it's just give it time, people will get used to it, people will know how to play it, and then she's going to start getting used to it. Is it a similar sort of thing with Junkrat? Does he need changing at all? And will he ever sort of be in the pro scene over time for people just actually practicing and playing hero as much as you have?
So I see Junkrat like the stock market. Right now, Junkrat stock is really low and no one's buying. And that's just because of faith in Junkrat. For him to get more play, it's kind of a check 22. He won't be any more inconsistent unless you play him, but no one wants to play him because he's inconsistent. At a certain point, you do have to get braver, and I believe that's an issue in just the Overwatch community in general, is that as soon as a hero starts to encounter an issue, Blizzard has said, oh, it's not your fault. You're not bad at the class mechanically. You just have to make a decision to play another class.
What a name.
What they do is they run away from each class that encounter hard situation. And if you think about that in life, how would you ever get good at anything if you run away as soon as something gets difficult?
That phrase there is exactly what I mean, and I've been saying this shit for the last week, and it all comes from Chro. I give him the utmost respect. I've even told him on his stream and everything, he definitely has changed how I look at fighting games and such. But that phrase is super important. How would you get good at anything? Is if you when you run away from it when things get hard. And there's a phrase that I saw on the Walking Dead of all places. Smooth waters do not make skilled sailors. I fucked it up the first time. I'm glad I hit it right this time. Juri's in a spot right now where the waters are definitely treacherous. Very hard to play the character. And eventually they will buff her. Season 3, they will buff her. I'm 100% sure of that, and they will make her better. But what does it say about us that we're going to wait around for those buffs to actually play the character and play what we want to play? We want to play the character, but everyone's just afraid to play her. So, well, what does it say about us that we need to be, like, handed shit to be good? Another example, right? When Bonchan won, there was one major a few months back, and he dominated with Nash. Everyone said, no, Nash is not good. It's just Bonchan that's good. And I go, so if Bonchan is that good, and he can win, what's your excuse? If your excuse is, well, I'm not good as Bonchan, it's like, then get better, and then you will win with the character that you want to play as. Now, Bonchan recently just dropped Nash. That's his decision. Because when things go wrong, you have to ask yourself, why are you playing this game? Why are you playing that character? For him, it's a different answer than us. I want to win because I want to be at the highest level that I possibly can be. We're all not at that level. We can't make that decision, to be honest. Because frankly, whatever character we pick, we're still not going to be winning majors, well, most of us at least. So that's such a super important phrase, man. Like, what does it say about us that when things get hard, we run away? That's crazy. I'm going to keep playing it.
I think D.Va's a really good example of that, I suppose. The amount of people that just dropped her.
Right, and there's no glory or there's nothing impressive about playing a class when they're strong. It's all about mitigating their weaknesses and playing class when you more or less shouldn't. I'm not saying to pick these classes when they're weak, like in a professional.
And I'm going to pause that, just so that you guys understand. At this point, when this was recorded, D.Va got nerfed. D.Va was nerfed, and everyone says she's dead. D.Va got one buff that was more like a quality of life thing. It wasn't even like a skill thing. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't even like a strength buff. It was a quality of life. But then people started to understand how to play her again. And she's arguably one of the best characters in the game with one of the most broken abilities. And to be frank, nothing changed. The only thing that changed was players just started to play her again. And of course her stock went up when the meta changed. But still though, with no buffs, people played her, had faith in her, and now she's in a better place, excuse me. I'm actually going to go back a few seconds just to make sure I don't miss this point. It's a good one.
Playing a class when they're strong, it's all about mitigating their weaknesses and playing class when you more or less shouldn't. I'm not saying to pick these classes when they're weak, like in a professional match. Don't lose on purpose, but at the same time, you're going to have to play these classes when they're weak to learn to get better at them. And that's kind of why I stuck to Junkrat. Everyone said he's pretty bad in most situations. I was like, you know what, I just really need to pound away at this class, grind it out, and learn to mitigate your weakness, and then the class starts having some viability.
Talking about heroes that they...
So, that's such a super important phrase. And I forgot he said this. I absolutely forgot he said this because I've been talking about this for the last week. He's basically advocating that we recognize a character's weakness and mitigating that weakness. And when you do so, you find out that the character is a little bit more viable. So, playing anything competitively, right? It's a give and take. It's like it's a back and forth. You always want to mitigate your weaknesses, and at the same time, you want to be exploiting your strengths. Now, your opponent are trying to exploit your weaknesses while mitigating your strengths. It goes back and forth. That's the crux of any competitive game. Like, that's everything. That's absolutely everything, is a matter of mitigating your weaknesses. Now, the problem is that everyone thinks that when I ask them, like, what's one of Juri's weaknesses? They go, everything's weak about her. Well, fuck no. That's not how it works. It's not... Juri is not fucking weak, like, completely too weak. It's just not how it works. It's not how it is, and it's just not reasonable. When I asked them what are her strengths, nothing. There's nothing good about the fucking character. I think I asked on Twitter, and only one person got back to me, and that was Chro. And his response was standing, medium kick. And I said, well, what's good about it? And he said that basically the distance, the frame data on it, so on and so forth. So then, if you think that, then why aren't we trying to exploit that move for everything that it's worth? Why are we not trying to get maximum value out of that move then? If you think that's one of her biggest strengths, then you should be playing around that strength. Unfortunately, if that were the case, then that would not be a really good strength, because even though it's good, you don't get a lot of value out of it. But still, it's like you can play around that. Like, I'm going to use it to space out, force them to try to make a bold move, force them to jump in, and then punish them for doing so. It's like, that is a game plan. And I don't think you should ever change a game plan mid-match. You should go in with your game plan and make sure you do it right. Because if you change it mid-match, it's based on feeling, not about information. Anyway, so this is going much longer than I wanted to. But it's super important to think about that phrase. Like, mitigating your weaknesses while exploiting your strengths. And your opponent is trying to exploit your weaknesses while mitigating your strengths. That's competitive gaming, man. Right then and there. So, if you think Juri has strengths, we need to recognize that. Talk about it. What is she actually good at? If you think she has weaknesses, be honest about it. Don't tell me she's got poor anti-air. She has a DP. It's really good. Don't tell me she's got poor anti-airs when she has standing fears. Don't tell me her damage is low, because without any EX bar, she could pull just as much as everyone else does without EX. Don't tell me her walk speed's bad. Her walk speed's good. Her V-trigger. No one uses her V-trigger properly. And then they go, the shit's ass. Well, no, maybe it's just because you're using it like a moron. So that's what I want everyone to do. I want them to think about why they play the character. Do they like the character? I like the character. I like playing the character. Why? Because when I win, I feel good about it. And I wouldn't feel the same way if I played Laura. Because I wouldn't feel like I won. I would feel like the character won. And I always want to be the one that gets the glory, not my character. I don't want anyone to ever think you only win because you play a top tier character. If Juri was top tier, I would still play her, and I would bask in her cheapness. However, I would feel a little guilty when I would rob people of a match. I'll be frank. I wouldn't feel that same glory, and that's what I always chase, is that glory. I play Juri because she defines me in some ways. I found out the man that I was through Street Fighter 4. I found out what made me the man that I am today, and I lost that when I stopped playing Street Fighter. I need to do that again. That's what I have been doing. What do I think are her strengths? She can confirm off of anything. Her damage is actually not bad if you play Street Fighter 5 and just use her tools to express yourself in Street Fighter 5. She controls space quite well. Her normals are pretty good. Her fireball is good. You can chase it for frame advantage. Her anti-airs are decent. She's just not cheap. So because of that, we need to maximize everything that we have. And a weakness of hers is that she doesn't have proper mix-up. Like, that sucks. So since she doesn't have proper mix-up, we need to look at the mix-up that we do have. We need to look at the strengths of that mix-up, and we need to find a way to make it even more cheap. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just she's not cheap. That's the major thing. There's nothing about her. She's honestly, I feel like the most honest character in the game. And as weird as that is, it's very hard to mitigate that. But what we need to do is just exploit what's really strong about her. That's it, guys. That's all I wanted to say. Sorry this went on a bit long. Hopefully you like this kind of video, because I like doing these kind of videos. I like talking about the character. So with that being said, if you want to talk more about her, hit me up on Twitter at twitter.com/KailKun, KailKun. Hit me up on my stream when I'm streaming Street Fighter 5. Hell, if you come in when I'm playing Final Fantasy 14, which I have in the background right now, come on in. Let's talk Juri. I'll talk it then. I don't give a fuck. Twitch.tv/BigNastyKail. It's the road to 500 followers. That's been my goal for a while, and I am almost there. So if you guys can throw me a follow, hit me up sometime, come watch me stream. It's always fun times. I would really appreciate that. And that's it. Shoot me a subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell icon to tell when I am live again. And most important, hit me with a thumbs up if you like this kind of video. And hit me with a comment if you don't like it. And tell me what you don't like about it. Or tell me what you do like about it. Or just talk to me about Juri. That's it, guys. I'm going to head out. I'm going to head to bed. I got work in 7 hours. So with that being said, guys, have a good night. Go in peace and serve the queen. All thanks be to Juri. Peace.